Hey cuties, I'm Laniki and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless edition. Today is Friday, yay! April the 14th, 2023. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 6. We see uh, Tessa, Mariah, as well as Sharon. They're excited because they bring the baby in and they're so excited to see, the baby and everything. We see Adam and Sally see that they've brought the baby and they're like, oh my gosh, that's gonna, we're gonna have a baby soon and it's exciting. And so they come and they introduce themselves to Amelia. That's the baby's name. And they're, it's just cute. And so then Elena comes and she sees it all as well. And she's like, oh my gosh, and they thank her because, she helped encourage all of this to happen as well. Sally and Adam continue to talk and they're continuing to bond. He's still in love with her. It is what it is. So then we see Jack goes and talks to Cricket because he wants to know what y'all doing with Diane. And she says, listen, I am the DA. I can't give you any information, Jack. And don't try to use our friendship to get information from me. And he says, you need to look at Stark. And she said, well, the evidence is leading to Diane. So if you want to help her, of course we'll look at all the leads, but if you want to help her get her a good attorney, and don't be surprised if we don't get her out, she doesn't come home because after with her arraignment, because she is high stakes. She could run. She's faked her own death before, so it wouldn't be impossible for her to do all of that again. And so Jack, that's not what Jack wanted to hear. So then Sally and Nick, he brings her home and she just can't believe, she's like, Diane killed my mom. I wish I had known that early. Like, I wish I would have believed my mom earlier when she was saying all this, but now it's too late. It's over with. And I can never let her know that I believe her. And he says, she tells him, I don't know when Kyle's gonna be here because he's probably with his mom. So that's his priority. And he comes in and he tells her, no, you're my priority. So Nick ends up leaving and it's just Summer and Kyle. And he's like, my mom is so innocent of this. And he just says it so matter of factly that Summer's like, wait a minute, no, she's not. All the evidence points to her. Your mom is guilty and you need to open your eyes and see this. And he's like, Summer, he pretty that just she believes Diane killed her mom because the evidence. He says, you should know my mom to know that she would never do this. And she was like, well, what about back in the day when she burned down the pool house and she did all this other stuff? Like, you're acting like she's just this innocent woman, and it's impossible for her to have done something bad. And he was like, well, I mean, she's changed. And so they say, let's get on the same page for when we speak to Harrison about his DD. And she told Kyle, don't expect your mama to be home because she might not come home anytime soon, if ever. And so, it's a strain on their marriage and everything. He talked to Jack about it, and Jack just says, she might not come home soon, but they're going to do what they can to try to, clear her name. So then we go over here to Phyllis, who Phyllis, you're my girl, but why did you go to your memorial? That's just, I don't know, that was kind of sick. You my girl, but like sometimes you do stuff and I'm like, oh Lord. So anyways, she went to her memorial. Now she feeling bad because she see the strain and the stress and the heartache she's caused her children. Well, duh, what did you think was gonna happen? I guess she really thought they didn't love her anymore. So she wants to be free. She wants to say that she's alive and stop the heartache. And so Jeremy comes in. He was like, girl, you were supposed to leave. Like, you can't be within 50 miles of this city. Why are you still here? And she said, because after seeing her children, she needs to confess that she's alive. And he said, no, you're not. And she said, listen, I'm not afraid of you. You can't threaten me. I get what I want. I've done little prison time or jail time. And she just says that when I want someone taken down, they are taken down, and I usually get away with it. I said, girl, Not for the long run. No, okay, no feelings. And he tells her, manhandles her and tells her, I'm not going back to prison. So if you don't sit your butt down and get out of town and start your life over, I'll kill you myself. And I said, oh, okay then, Jeremy. But I'm like, Phyllis, it's too late to have second thoughts now. You should have thought about that when you was doing this. So then Nate and Victoria was up in the office trying to do what they do, like Mr. Brown say, doing the nasty and stuff, trying to, when Audra is outside now. She know what they doing, and she set her up because Nick came through and she tells him she's sorry about Phyllis, and then she tells him, because what are you doing here? And he said, work is a distraction. Um, she said work is a. He told her work is a distraction, and that's exactly what he needs right now. And she said, well, Victoria's in her office. He said, yeah, I'm gonna go by my office and get something. And Audra walk up. I said, girl, that's an ugly dress, but come on. So then Nick tries to go in Victoria's office and the door is locked because she up in there trying to seduce her some Nate, and it's working. And so anyways, Nick comes in. He already know what they doing. And Nate says, well, we were just having, she tells him, Nate and I were just having a drink and Nate gonna leave. And Victoria acted like, okay, what are you doing here? He said, girl, you always wear your hair like that because our hair is messed up. He said, you got a button unbuttoned. And what do you want, Nick? What do you want? While she trying to straighten herself out. He said, whatever you doing with Nate, you need to stop it. And she said, well, you had your thing with Sally. I left it alone. I said, no, you fired Sally. What are you talking about? And she said, but now she's pregnant by Adam and everything, and I mind my own business. So Nicholas, I expect you to do the same. And baby, she was done with that conversation. It was horrible acting, to be quite honest with you. But she was done with that conversation. Nick picked that equipment, not equipment. He picked those papers up off the floor, threw them down on her desk, and said, "Well, because she said I have a lot of work to do." He said, "You could start by doing these files right here, straighten them out." And she left, and he said, "Brushing your hair." Cause girl, it looked like you've been doing something in that office. But Nick can't really say anything because she stays out of his business with Sally, even though she did have her opinions, like, and he did try to tell her, why do you do this? This could be like another Ashland Locke. And she said, Nate is nothing like that. And don't bring that name up to me again, Nicholas. I say, baby, let's move on. So Nate sees Nick out and about. Excuse me, Nick sees Nate out and about, and he come there to put Nate on blast that I got my eyes on you because what you not gonna do is come over here and try to take over Newman like you did your family. Because if you did that to your family, and Nate said I would never do that, he said you lost credibility with me as soon as you did that with them. Like, so I guess they are y'all not friends no more. So Elena comes up and she's like, what are y'all talking about? Because Nick had told Nate, you got a good woman at home. And what are you trying to do? And Nate trying to act like he wasn't doing anything with Victoria. He said, I already had this. Nick tells him, I already had this conversation with Victoria. Stop it. Stop the lies. Stop the cap. And so when Elena comes up, she's like, what are y'all talking about? And Nate tells her, Nick seems to be the like mind as you, that I'm letting the need for power go to my head. And he said, and I'm just tired of hearing about it on both ends. But you didn't tell her about you was doing it or trying to with Victoria if Nick hadn't came in. You didn't tell her that much. And so Nick just said, you got a good woman right here and everything. And Elena, enjoy the rest of your night. And so he leaves, and Elena was like, you want to tell me what this is all about? And baby, that was The Young and the Restless. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time for another episode of What Happened on the Soaps, The Young and the Restless edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.